What's up guys, good morning. As I already promised you, class changes are gonna come this week, and they came. Last night, quite late my time, we're online, but unfortunately I was asleep. I woke up to a very good news, especially if you're tank players, you're gonna love this patch. A lot of other DPSers got nerfed, especially around S tier, hunters, etc. and shamans, but I'll dive right into it. Let's begin. Alright, so first thing first, we're having here Bloody K getting a 20% aura buff to every single damage ability. Obviously, every single tank was quite behind compared to damage dealers, so having extra 20% damage increase to Bloody K on top of it would be quite great. Helping with aggro, better sustain, better damage profile, pluses. Okay, so that's gonna be one of the interesting specs that got changed. Demon Hunter. Okay, so the Hunt and Sigil Spite got buffed by 8%. That's for both, by the way, Vengeance and for Havoc, which is really good. Aldaraki River, there's been some bug fixes on Wounded Quarry, which made its damage a little bit higher. I would say like a lot higher than what it was before. On top of it, spawning already more lesser soul fragments, which obviously would increase your damage output. If you are a Havoc main, you would absolutely love this change, especially if you're playing Aldraki, not Felskart, because everybody plays Aldraki anyway. On top of this, they fixed a lot of issues with the Wounded Quarry, which is gonna end up being absolutely massive for them. Felskart also got buffed by a little bit, 18% Demon Surge so far from what I've seen, and Flame Bound bonus to Immolation Aura critical strike damage increased to from 30 to 50%. That's overall fixes for Aldraki and Felskart for both specs, Havoc and Vengeance DH. I still believe both specs were playing Aldraki most of the time, but I've seen some weird builds that include Felskart. Now, Havoc specific changes. All abilities damage increased 5%. Now keep in mind, you already got buffed by playing Aldraki Reaper because of the Wooden Quarry. On top of this, you're getting 5% auto buff. Blade Dance 33% damage increase only on that Blade Dance, not Dead Sweep. I've seen a lot of builds where people were just not really hitting Blade Dance outside of meta, which it's kind of weird, but I guess I have an idea why they did it, because it was just undertuned. Immolation Aura also increased by 12%. Some more bug fixes, and 4-piece now has been buffed by pretty much double the effect. It's gonna grant you 2% critical strike chance per stack sacrifice instead of 1. So overall, those are huge buffs for Havoc. I believe this is the third consecutive buff for Havoc. I believe. I'm like 95% sure. So now they're looking a lot better starting the Season 2. So if you Havoc main and looking to main the spec again, I told you, don't lose hope even though your spec could look pretty rough at the beginning. Final tweeting yet hasn't come. So love to see that shit. Havoc players are eating very good today. Moving forward, sorry, before I continue, Vengeance also got 20% damage aura buff, just like Bloody K. On top of the buffs for Aldraki River, the Hunt, Sigil Spite, and also Felskart. So on top of all the buffs, Vengeance got another 20% aura buff, which is, in my opinion, insane. And Felskart for Vengeance also got buffed by Demon Surge, I guess, a little bit. This could have actually been only for Havoc. I'm not sure if it is for Havoc or Vengeance. On top of this, I gotta check. I think that was like both specs, but this is like, okay, so this impacted both specs, but this only impacts Vengeance, I think. Overall, buffs of Vengeance quite large. They're already, in my opinion, the best tank last week. So this week they're gonna be even better than last week, which again, the better tanks get better. I mean, I'll take it. W for DHs, maybe looking like a DH meta, who knows, Vengeance. Anyway, moving forward. Druid, some quality of life changes here. For Lucario Meditation, nobody cares, whatever, yada yada yada. It's good for Restoration Druids in general, or I guess people that use Fluid Form as often. Guardian Druid, another 20% aura buff, just like every tank you're gonna see. Every tank got slapped by like aura buffs. Guardian, Bloody K, Vengeance by 20. I guess Vengeance more than 20. I think Guardian needs a lot more love for this to work, in my opinion. Master Shapeshifter from Restoration Druid now costs less mana. Again, a lot more mana efficient, but I don't think they had any mana issues compared to, for example, Shaman or Holy Paladin, etc. Augmentation Evoker have caught a second nerf in a row, which means for the past 2 weeks they've been nerfing Aug Evoker once again. Rumbling Earth deals 30% of the upheaval damage was 50. Fixed initial costing Breath of Ions with maneuverability would extend even might from the free upheaval proc from the libation of 2 piece. Even less uptime on even might now, less personal damage. The 2-piece also got nerfed. The chance to trigger is being reduced to 35. Not a nerf to the 2-piece. And not a nerf to the 4-piece again. Now has a 50% chance to trigger Essence Burst. Okay, so all of this means less uptime with even might, less personal damage. The question now is going to be, are Augmentation Evoker still going to become meta? My answer for this, quite early to say, but I'm 95% certain Aug Evoker is still likely to be part of the S tier so far. Again, I'll be testing this for the next couple of days. On Sunday, I'm gonna be the tier list, but these are, in my opinion, little nerfs to Aug Evoker, which are, I think, warranted, to be honest with you. They were quite good. Moving forward, Death Evoker got a 4% aura buff. This was the, I think this is like 4th or 5th buff in a row for Death Evoker. So now they're trying to really push the spec forward and maybe like try to put it on par with Aug Evokers. Overall, the raid performance from Death Evoker wasn't bad at all. I think they were like in top 10, top 15 specs. Mythic Plus, they were, I would say, a little bit behind compared to top performing specs. So with these buffs now, they would come a lot closer to them. I'll be testing the buffs today. Alright, now very sad news for all Hunter mains chat. Unfortunately, although Hunter has been quite good the past couple weeks, Blizzard decided to drop the hammer and nerf them. It's kind of interesting because a lot of other S tier specs did not get nerfed, but Hunter did. Beast Cleave dropping from 80 to 90%. So that's going to be a huge nerf here to Beast Cleave, in my opinion. This is like rather huge nerf. Huge nerf to Q Cleave too. Call of the Wild, which is your major cooldown, has also been nerfed by quite a bit. Fixed an issue that causes direct command grant Huntmaster's code. This was actually something that we talked about last week. This was already present, so that's not going to be an issue. Fixed an issue where summoning pack leader bear granted the stacks of Huntmaster's code. Okay, again, I think those two were fixed last week, so they're not going to impact you, but those buffs here, less damage output, mostly impacting AoE. Single targets will remain mostly the same, except that your burst will be a little bit weaker. Overall, I think those nerfs were, I guess we were just waiting for them to nerf it because they never really let Hunter to be like meta. So I think now you're gonna drop for sure from the top tier spots. Like you're definitely dropping from S tier to like, I won't talk about rankings yet. I'll talk about it on Sunday, but you're definitely dropping spots, unfortunately, for all Hunter mains out there. Hunter, in my opinion, one of the worst picks, if not the worst pick in the game so far. Wild Runner Quiver bonus. I think this was given last week. Not 100% sure about this one. Bullet Hole also was buffed last week, so this is nothing new. Aspect Hydra was buffed last week, so nothing new for Hunter. Actually, quite interesting. Right now is like really bad in Mythic Plus, and they are not doing any changes to them, which is kind of surprising, but yeah. Moving forward, Survival Hunter Flanking Strike was buffed last week, so that's nothing new. Fury of the Ego is doing 20% more damage, very good changes, and it's now going to be 8 target cap instead of 5. Wow. It's actually quite good changes for Survival. A little bit buffs here on Fury of the Ego, which means every 1 minute with your major cooldowns, Coordinated Assault, you're going to do a little bit more burst, which I'll take that, you know, why not? Small buff here for Survival. Pack Leader also got slight buffs, in my opinion. Most people were playing Sentinel, which is the better choice for Mythic Plus, so don't think that's going to change anything so far. Moving forward, Mages. Visual updates for Arcane. Frostfire seems like to be a rather buff for fire. With the Isothermic Core now is going to do more damage because of the Comet Storm. I don't think anybody played fire, especially after SKB was nerfed, so everybody switched to Sun Fury. I don't think all of these changes will make Frostfire better. I still think Sun Fury is going to be the king, much better. Actually surprised they haven't nerfed Sun Fury Fire Mage, which right now is actually quite crazy Mythic Plus. Frost Mage has got a nerf, by the way. Blizzard got nerfed again by 10%, which is going to impact your AoE performance. Frostfire got buffed. Oh, sorry, Frostfire got not a nerf. Quite interesting. Frost Mage continuously getting nerfed week after week, although these nerfs are rather small, still nerfed to Blizzard. Moving forward to Brewmaster Monk, getting a 15% buff overall to all damage abilities. Again, welcoming change. Is that going to fix the problems with Brewmaster? Of course not. No nodes so far for self-sustain, no nodes for like TL'DR adjustment. Yeah, no nodes that improve your durability, just damage buffs. I think they were already doing great in damage. So, yeah, take it as you want. Mistweaver Monk has been nerfed. So Mastery got nerfed by a little bit. Jade Bounce was nerfed by quite a bit, especially the healing part. Rushing Wind Kick is gonna do more now healing from Renewing Mist. And what else? The Display on Mist got nerfed, and Mana T now is gonna refund less mana. Okay, so overall nerfs to Mistweaver, I think those were like targeting raiding, because they were really doing quite good job in raiding with HPS. I think in Mythic Plus they never had an issue with healing, so even though this seems to be a nerf to like healing in Mythic Plus, I still believe Mistweaver is gonna be one of the best healers so far for Season 2. Unfortunately, you got nerfed. I think the damage department is still crazy good, likely the best DPS so far across all healers, if you don't count the PI contribution out of Disc Priest. Overall, I believe that you're not going to see much changes coming for Mistweaver anymore. I mean, I would be very surprised if they do so. Maybe like, if they nerf their single target a bit, then I think Mistweaver is going to drop rankings. But overall, they still a very good heal. Don't worry about the HPS nerfs. Holy Paladin, I'm very surprised it didn't get any changes. Only the Beacon of Virtue is now costing less mana, so I guess better mana management. I mean, I expected some throughput changes for Holy Paladin, more healing, for example. But unfortunately, HPS still going to be your biggest struggle. Protection Paladin caught a 15% damage buffs right now. Kind of surprised that Vengeance DH was doing a lot better DPS-wise last week compared to Prot Paladin, which both of them were like S tier specs. Now that Vengeance got a lot more buffs on damage department compared to Prot Paladin, will they fall behind Protection Paladin? That is, maybe. But nevertheless, they got a 15% buff, just like the rest of the DPS picks, which is gonna help them with aggro and more overall damage. Retribution Paladin, Final Reckoning was already buffed last week, so I don't think that's something new. It was already present. And an issue causing Divine Hammer duration to be extended more than expected. That's going to be a damage nerf, by the way, to Ret Paladin, because apparently you had some bug that extends Divine Hammer. Alright. Herald to the Sun also got buffed, it seems like. Sun's Avatar damage increased by 50%. And also Second Sunrise also got buffed. I'll be looking forward to try Herald to the Sun. See if that's going to be better than Templar. Who knows? I mean, I'll be surprised. I'll be inclined to give it a try. Moving forward to Discipline Priest, unfortunately or fortunately for all of you, has not been nerfed. Only some visual updates, which likely means Disc Priest now is cementing their place to the S tier. In my opinion, they were already S tier last week, but with having no nerfs to the spec, you're probably gonna see another Priest season going forward. Although again, there's nothing set in stone. There could be a lot more changes. I believe there's gonna be at least 2 more. So yeah, looking so far so good for Disc Priest mains out there. Enjoy the next season if you're meta. Moving forward, Shaman. The very bad news coming for Elemental Shaman and Enhanced Shaman. Well, I guess for Ele Shaman, only visual updates are disabled, which is gonna make your FPS better for like surrounding players, because you're not gonna see many overloads. So that's good for the surrounding players, better FPS, but the damage department of Ele Shaman hasn't been changed. Unlikely Enhanced. It received quite a big nerfs here. Well, people were saying like 7% nerf in AoE and 4% nerf in single target. So Hot Hands nerf was already present last week. That's nothing new. Ashen Catalyst has been nerfed. You're gonna get 8% more damage from Lava Lash per stack instead of 12. Quite substantial, by the way. Chain Lighting increases damage with next Crush Lighting by 10% per stack per target struck instead of 20. Nerf to that. Electrostatic Wager now increases damage with Crushing Light by 15% per stack, was 18. Another nerf to that. Chain Lighting damage itself got nerfed by 15%, Wind Fury attack nerfed by 10%, and the 4-piece also got another nerf. The 4-piece got a buff to like single target with Crushing Light, which I guess, I mean, I was casting it before on single target Crushing Light, that is, but now I'm gonna have more incentive to do so. It seems like the Stormbringer got nerfed on enhanced too. Tempest secondary targets damage reduced by 15%. And Lightning Rod now is gonna do 8% of damage dealt by Maelstrom weapons instead of 10. Alright. So that's nerf to Stormbringer and also nerf to Totemic. Whose cap now increases damage of the Surging Totem Tremor by 18%, was 25. Nerf to Tremor Totem. And Surging Totem Tremor damage reduced by 10%. Again, not only you got nerfed to both hero talents, but you also got nerfed to overall enhance, I guess, toolkit or damage profile or damage output, whatever you want to call it. But I've seen some people are throwing numbers like 7% AoE nerfs, 4% single target nerfs. Could be potentially more depending if you're playing Totemic or Stormbringer. But I think those nerfs were kind of like warranted. We kind of waited for them to come because we already knew that Enhance was doing pretty well. I don't think they're going to be unplayable. I don't think they're going to fall down the tiers like significantly, but it would definitely not make them the best DPS anymore. So if you're Enhanced main in the chat, I don't think you're looking to be a best DPS so far, but still quite good. Moving forward, Respiration Shaman did get pretty much no changes except that Healing Wave now is going to cost less mana, which is going to help with mana management. Other than that, no changes. Quite surprised that I haven't seen any. Actually surprised that I haven't seen any rogue changes for the 7th time in a row. No Shadow Priest changes, no Warlock changes too. Very interesting patch notes here. Last but not least, Arms Warrior got massive buffs here. Whirlwind by 40%, Slam Execute, Overpower, Mortal Strike by 20%. Very substantial buffs for Arms Warrior. They were already doing great in Mythic Plus, like, let's say, within an 8-tier performance, but now they're going to do even better. Not only in the raid, but also in Mythic Plus. Colossus Arms also got buffed, I guess rather juiced up. Demolish damage increased by 30. Practice Strikes increases the Mortal Strike and Cleave damage from 15 to 20. And Arterial Bleed increases Rend Deep Wounds damage by 5% per stack instead of 3. Massive buffs here for Colossus. Slayer also got slight buffs on top of it too. Overall, very happy that they're targeting warriors and buffing them. I think last week they buffed Fury Warrior, this week they're buffing Arms, so thumbs up to that one. Fury Warrior got another buff. Whirlwind now is gonna do 30% more damage. Nobody played Whirlwind if you play Mountain Tane, because you replace this with Thunderclap. But if you're playing Slayer, I guess that's a welcome change for you. Onslaught damage increased by 30. Alright, I'll take it. Mountain Tane Thunder Blast damage increased by 25. Okay, so very good change here. You'll be getting more damage coming from Mountain Tane. However, even though Thunder Blast got buffed by 25, they also nerfed the Strain to the Mountain, which makes your Bloodthirsty Rampage do 25% more damage instead of 30. So that's small nerf here to Strain to the Mountain. I guess they tried to compensate, shift some power away from the toolkit of a Warrior towards some Thunder Blast, I guess. But overall, if you're playing Mountain Tane, I might say this probably means like a slight nerf, but maybe like a buff to AoE. I don't know. I'm not sure about AoE, but I think it's going to be probably nerfed to like single target when playing Mountain Tane. Slayer Untouched, which pretty much means you're going to be the go-to rating hero talents for Fury, which is very good news for you. And Protection Warrior, 20% damage buffs coming for them, just like every time. They got another damage buff, so I'll take it. Better aggro management, better overall output. Thumbs up. Thunder Blast damage increased by 10 if you're playing Mountain Tane, which I think most players were playing Mountain Tane. Overall for the buffs here for Protection Warrior. Alright, so before we end the video, I would like to say something, chat. Look at the data. Okay, so today is the 13th of February. The patch comes on the 25th. The season is not going to be live until the 4th of March. I expect 1 or 2 more changes. First, next week coming between 18 and 19. Then the week after coming to the 25th and 26th. So 2 more changes at least. There's a speculation that they might get more, but I think if I got a bet, and so far I've been always right, keep in mind, I expect 2 more changes. First between the 18th and 20th next week, and second, the final changes before the Mythic rating opens and World First Race opens is between the 25th and 28th. That's what I expect. This is gonna be the final changes, which I'm hopeful to see some buffs towards my my favorite spec, you know. But I'll keep you guys updated. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, click a sub button because we're updating you on every single change happening in WoW. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna get back to practicing. If you guys want to hang out, I'll see you on stream. Peace out.